Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Daniel James, and as always, if you're new here, welcome. What would your life look like if you had a blueprint and framework that would help you make decisions to move you through life to the ultimate outcome that you want? Well, that's possible. And it's possible only if you actually have a plan and some sort of idea of where you are going. Now, let me explain. Imagine every single morning that you walked out of your house and you had absolutely no idea where you were going. You'd wander around in a daze and potentially just end up where it is that you actually wanted to go. And that's how most people live their life. They're just wandering around, not quite sure where they're going, and just hoping that they end up somewhere. So before I go into what we can do, my question to you is, do you have any idea of where your destination is? Because if the answer is no, then how are you going to know when you get there? How are you going to know how to get there? And how are you going to make decisions that help you determine what to do next? So let's have a look at it. Let's go in a bit more detail. So what we need to do is we've got to be very, very honest about where we currently are right now. I've done plenty of podcasts on that because without knowing where we are right now, without having that real honest conversation with ourselves, we can't actually understand how we can influence the future. A lot of the time we're in this very disillusioned state. We think the world's against us. We think that everyone else is the problem. We need to take that real honest look at ourselves and be like, right, where are we at right now? What's the biggest problems? What's the biggest challenges that we're facing? And what part have I played in that? Because by taking that responsibility, we then have that real honest assessment of where we're currently at. Now, here's the key point. We now need to then figure out where is it that we want to go. Because from here, we can then reverse engineer it. We can, again, let's just use the driving analogy when you're going out of the house in the morning. If you know you've got to travel on a 4-hour journey, or let's say 10-hour journey, let's go 10 hours, 10-hour journey, you will figure out, okay, what time do I want to get there? And by you figuring out what time to get there, you can then reverse it back from there. Because without knowing what time you need to get there, you don't know what time you've got to leave. So where are we going? Right now, cool. Where's the goal? What is it that we want? Then step it backwards, because by stepping it backwards, we're going to give ourselves a bit more of a roadmap of how to actually get there. Now, just like driving in the car on this 10-hour journey, what then happens if there's suddenly an accident? So you figured out where you want to go, and something happens. Life happens. Because no matter how amazing your plans are, life is just going to keep on lifing. So something's going to come up, something's going to happen. But if you have this plan, if you have this idea, that's where I'm going, when you're stuck in that traffic jam, you can take a detour because you know where you're going. So you can go round, miss out the traffic, and get to your destination. But in doing that, you might get halfway through your detour and then think to yourself, do you know what? I'm actually quite happy here. Yeah, quite happy here. I'm very happy with this. And then, guess what? You can stop your journey. You can take a step back. You can reassess. You can relax. You can calm down. And then if you want to progress to the final destination, amazing. But if you're happy where you're actually at on this detour, great. Because you never would have seen all this amazing countryside. You never would have seen this new thing had you not had a plan, had you not known where you were going, and had you not known how to take a detour. In life, because we have no plan, we are guessing. But if you have a plan and you know where you're going, when you're stuck in that traffic jam, when life seems to be grinding to a halt, when something happens, you can ask yourself, right, am I prepared to sit in this traffic jam and wait it out? And the answer might be yes. Amazing. But if you say no, because you know where you're going, you can plan another route on how to get there. Doesn't mean it's an easier route, does not mean it's a quicker route, but it means that you keep on moving, progressing towards the thing that you say that you want. And you can ask yourself along the journey, because every single day we have a choice. Even doing nothing is a choice. So we can ask ourselves, is this choice I'm making moving me closer or further away from the thing that I want? But without knowing what it is that you want, you don't have that framework. You don't have the ability to ask yourself, is this moving me closer or further away? Because if you don't know what you're moving closer or further away from, how can you have that question? You can't. So every single day, you're just going in blind. And I'm not saying you've got to have everything set in stone, but you've got to have a rough idea. This is kind of where I want to go. Because without that, you are literally driving blind. You're driving around, and hoping that you get there. So what would your life look like if you had a framework? What would your life look like if every single day you could ask yourself, right, what am I going to do today to move me closer towards that? Right, what am I going to do today now that life has thrown me a curveball and I'm really stuck and I feel really unfulfilled? I don't like this. This feels horrible. I feel stuck. I feel trapped. What are you going to do? I'm going to make a different decision. I'm going to do this instead. Okay, this thing you're going to do instead, is that moving you closer or further away from your goal? Financially, it's moved me further away from my goal because I have to spend a lot of money to do that. However, in the long run, it would actually lead me to my goal and I'll be better off. Brilliant. But can you see there that actually in the short term, just like climbing a mountain, if the path is blocked, sometimes you've got to go backwards, across to go back up again. But you only know if that's a smart decision to make if you know where it is that you're going. So for the final time, what would your life look like if you had this framework? Do yourself a favor and just sit down. If you go into the comment section on this video, I'll give you 3 questions that you can ask yourself to get you going. And if you've taken any value from today's episode, or if you know someone that could take value from this episode, don't forget to share it with a friend. And if you took personal value from this episode, don't forget to give us a like. Until next time, take it easy.